What's up guys, my name is KIMoFy and today I'm going to be showing you guys how you can make a profile picture in Adobe Photoshop. Now what you're going to want to do is head over to File, select New, and make sure the width and height is 800 by 800 and the background contents are transparent. Now you can hit OK and your document's going to load up. Now we're going to need a nice background, so we can get that from going to Google Images. And you can search up backgrounds like gradient background, flare background, grunge background, sunburst background, radial background, or even a textured background. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to be using a sunburst background, and I like this one. So what I'm going to do is hit right click, hit save image as, and then hit select save. I already have it saved, so I'm going to do cancel, and then we open up Photoshop. And we go to File, Place Linked, or Place if you're running an old version of Photoshop, and select your image. Now we can do Shift and Alt while we resize it so it stays in the exact center. And then we can hit Enter. Now we have our background layer. Now we can go head over to the rectangle tool, right click and select Ellipse tool. Now we're going to make a circle because you might want that on your profile picture, and you can see it's not a perfect circle. So what we're going to do is hold Shift while we resize it, and you can see it's a perfect circle. Then we can let go, and we can see that the inside of the circle is completely black, and we don't want that. So we're going to select the black and make it no fill, and then select the no stroke and make it a white fill. And then we'll go over to the PX for the stroke, make it around 35 or 40. Let's try 35, that looks nice. Now we can go back and hit Control and T, or Command T if you're on Mac, and then resize it a bit more by holding Shift so it stays in its proportions. Then we can hit Enter, and then press Ctrl A, head over to Layer, align layers to selection vertical centers, then Layer, align layers to selection horizontal centers. Then we can press Ctrl D to deselect, and we can resize it a bit more if we want now by holding Shift and Alt so it stays in the center, and I think that's pretty good. Now we'll press that check mark up there, and we have our background. Now let's add some text by heading over to the text tool. I have a font called Aldo the Apache, that's what I'm going to be using, and let's set it to around 300. I think that's too small, so let's type K because that's the first letter of my channel name, and we'll hit Ctrl T and hold Shift while we resize it. That looks pretty big. I'm going to make it a bit bigger for the purposes of this tutorial. Wait, make sure you hold Shift all until you let go of the cursor, which I didn't do. Okay. Now we have our letter. Now we're going to want to press the check mark up here and then press Ctrl A. Go to Layer, align layers to selection vertical centers, Layer, align layers to selection horizontal centers. Now we're going to press Ctrl D to deselect and Ctrl T to resize a bit more. Remember to hold Shift while you do this. So I don't think that's good enough. So now that we have our profile picture, let's add some effects to it. We just finish resizing it a bit. I think that seems good enough. See, nope, the proportions are getting messed up. So let's just rotate our profile picture. My Photoshop is lagging a lot right now. Okay, now it's fine. Now let's rotate it. Okay, now we can hit Enter and let's add some effects. let's go over to the layers, right click, and head over to blending options. Now let's add a color overlay of black, completely black. And let's add a white stroke. No, let's add a color overlay of white. That looks really nice with the opacity of 100%. And let's add a stroke. Make sure that's black. And let's make the size a bit bigger. That looks nice. Now we can head over and add a gradient overlay that's black and white with the opacity of 10% to give it that metallic look. Let's uncheck color overlay. Now let's keep it. And let's add a bevel and bus to give it a cartoonish look. It's not doing much to this layer, but because the stroke isn't that big, so let's make it a bit bigger. Yeah, now you can see it. Let's add a drop shadow. You can copy these settings down. I have it 13, 23, and 32 with the opacity set to 100%. And let's hit OK. Now we can add some effects to our circle. So let's go to ellipse 1, right click, blending options. And then let's add a stroke here too. Let's make the stroke a bit smaller, probably 6. Let's add bevel and boss. Let's add a color overlay of, no, it's already white. Let's add a drop shadow. Yeah, that looks good enough. Now we can just go back and make the stroke for our circle a bit bigger. That's too big. 55 looks good enough. So let's go back to blending options and make the stroke here bigger so that it just fits in. And that's good enough. So yeah, that's about it for this video. If you guys like this video, be sure to leave a big thumbs up down below. As always, thanks for watching. My name is KIMoFy and I'm signing out.